But man, uh, so I guess we could go and start this way. Welcome to the. I had a jingle in my head, and it was really corny, and I can't remember it, and
Welcome
it's probably for the better.
to the Yolo Braintrust. Welcome to the Yolo Braintrust dorks. Like that? Is that your jingle?
Oh man, it's like welcome to the Yolo Brain Trust. Welcome to
Oh,
the Yolo Brain Trust podcast. All right, now can
yeah,
we
it's even
get
worse.
now can we get a greeting from Scott? Scott, give us a greeting. All
I'm a
right,
gamer.
he's a gamer. Now we got Bobby. Bobby's with us. Now Bobby, can you give us a greeting?
I'm a gayer.
He's a gamer. All right.
All right.
So, folks, as many of you know, and we aren't going to get into it yet in the podcast, but there is a new Zelda game that is finally released. We've been talking about it for a couple months now. And we've been doing a little bit of Zelda content leading up to it. And if you're our
I'm sorry,
friend,
what? Is it a Zelda game?
there's a Zelda game that just came out. Yeah, and if you're our friend watching right now, and you have not started yet and you're worried about spoilers, this is just a heads up. You can listen. We try to keep the dead air to a minimum, so that way you can enjoy it. So let's go through the basics. We're on YouTube. We're saying no, this is not made for kids, and no, don't restrict my video to viewers under
And
18.
do not, if you don't want to listen to Tears of the Kingdom spoilers, turn them down. There won't be any major spoilers. There will be light spoilers, and I think a lot of people, GameStop employee I was talking to, he didn't even watch the trailer. That's how like adverse.
Why is he
on the
working at
internet.
GameStop? His heart is not in it.
No, I mean like he didn't watch. He specifically didn't watch the trailer. Like it wasn't like he didn't care.
Oh.
It was like he cared so much that he didn't want to watch the trailer so it wouldn't get spoiled for him.
Yeah.
And so I mean he's gonna. I have not yet gotten to a dungeon, but he's going to. He's going to be in for a real big shock when he gets done if he doesn't know that news. So that is what I would call a double light spoiler, because
Yeah.
it's a light spoiler in that it's not that big of a thing, but it's also doubly light because they revealed that was going to happen before the game. But if you're really spoiler adverse, I mean, that's going to be the lightest spoiler that we're going to say. So I can't do it right now.
So
Ready to get into it? Are we ready to get into it?
yeah, real quick. Since you're already on it, in like 2017, I wasn't really into gaming because I just didn't have the money for it, and so I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that the Switch was coming out. And this is a bit of a story for everyone. There's something for everyone here. And I was working fast food and I was working the drive-thru, and it was one of the best pitches I ever got in like the sweatiest way imaginable. I didn't know what the Nintendo Switch was. I hardly knew there was a Zelda game coming out. And I guess they launched together on the same day, I suppose. And
yeah,
this
it was a launch title. It was a launch title for Switch, but I don't know if they released the Wii U version before or that
they probably
day as well.
released them at the same time, because I think that's what they did for Twilight Princess. But I was working the drive-thru at this fast food place. And this guy came in. You know, he was a nice guy, but no offense to him. He was very neckbeardy, and he was playing his Switch in like his beat up like 2000 Honda Accord. As he pulled up to the drive-thru window. And I looked at it. He's like, "You know what this is?" I was like, "No, I don't know what this is." And he was like, it's a Switch. And I'm like, "What's a Switch? Is that like are you talking about the Switch on the device?" And he's like, "No, it's a Nintendo Switch. I'm playing Breath of the Wild." And I was like, "Oh, wow." And he made this pitch. He was like, "Come to GameStop. I'll sell it to you." And I was like, at a discount. I was like, "No, but I'll sell it to you. You can play it wherever." And then I said, okay, and I gave him like his spicy chicken nuggets or whatever it was, and he was on his way, and I thought about it for a bit. And then the next day I went to go get Breath of the Wild. And I'll never forget that pitch. He didn't offer me anything at all. But but it stuck with me for some reason.
This is how we know Travis is the saddest man alive. He's just that they're just, he just anything you like. That guy could have been like, "Hey, come, touch me." He'd be like, "Okay, what's in it for me? Nothing." You, Travis.
No.
My Switch story is a little different. I didn't get it. I knew about the Switch, but I didn't get it released. And then later that year in 2017, all my friends at work had a Switch, and Super Mario Odyssey was coming out, and they were like, "Dude, Super Mario Odyssey is gonna be so good. Like, it's gonna be the best game. You have to get it." So I ordered. I think I pre-ordered it on Amazon even. But I ordered the limited edition Super Mario Odyssey Nintendo Switch, and this is back when they were still bundling the game with the Switch.
Yeah.
And it was a discount. So I got that, and Super Mario Odyssey was really fucking good. It was really, really good. And I remember playing it, waiting for like a bus. I think I was waiting. I was waiting for the bus because I was outside. I was sitting at the train station waiting for the bus, and on the bench, and this guy comes up and sits down kind of on the bench next to me. And he's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's the new Nintendo Switch." He's like, "Oh, it's the new Nintendo thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the new Nintendo console." "Oh, well, what are you playing on that?" I'm like, some Super Mario."
It sounded like he's about to
Like,
give you some candy.
No, he's like, "That's pretty sick, man. I remember Mario when I was a kid. And you could play that anywhere?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, wow, is that like the new Game Boy kind of thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's like the new console." He's like, "Oh, wow, and you can play Mario? Oh man, I love Mario."
Wow, look
Oh,
at
man,
those kids and the newfangled
like, "Oh, I gotta
computers.
I know. He's like, "I gotta get me one of them things. I gotta get me one of them, man. I love Mario, man."
Yeah.
Man, that's a blast from the past. I was like, "Yeah, it's really fun." He's like, "How is it?" It's like, "It's so fun."
See, I don't think I could see myself playing like a Switch or anything in public, you know?
Really? That's part of the fun of it. That's one of my favorite things is like doing what the commercial was, where like you grab the Switch out of the holster and you play it in public, and then you get home playing it, you pop it into the TV, and then you immediately keep playing it. that and playing it on the toilet, like the guys that would like move their entire entertainment setup so that it was within 75 feet of the toilet, so they could play Wii U on the toilet.
Okay, you know what? I will say there was a point where I used the Switch quite a bit on the toilet, and then I was like, this just doesn't. It feels a little unhygienic. And it's like, can I really not wait 15 minutes? And
it's not about the time; it's about the concept, right? It's truly the future.
okay. Oh, well, this is something that I think would be interesting because I want to hear Scott's like iteration of this. When I was a kid, we didn't have smartphones yet, right? Same thing with Bobby, obviously. So whenever I got a new video game, I would read the instruction manual from front to back, and whenever I went to the bathroom, I would bring the instruction manuals with me, and especially when I got a new game, I'd get really excited to go to the bathroom and read the instruction manual.
You usually are the. Has it been 2 minutes yet?
Yeah. 10 minutes.
You really are the most cucked fan. You've been the most cucked. You're the most cucked fan in America.
All right. I think Scott said this to me before you joined the call, so I don't like that you guys keep coming to the same conclusion on this.
Well, then stop being so freaking cuck. You're reading the instruction manual front to back. Like, who reads the instruction manual?
No, the point. The point is you didn't have smartphones. What are you gonna do while you're in the bathroom? You're just kind of sitting there.
I read the toilet, shampoo.
Read the
bottle.
toilet paper? Is that what you're gonna say?
No, the shampoo bottle instruction. I would also read the toilet paper. Like if the big bag of toilet paper was out, I'd read the disclaimers on the toilet paper. You did your business and you went about your day. That was
Bobby's
it.
talking like he's gonna read the toilet paper like it's a mid-rash. Come on, man. So, Scott, like you kind of grew up in a weird interim period. Okay, no. Actually, since my mind's already focused on it, Bobby, what the hell did you read? You read shampoo bottles? Is that what you did?
Yeah, and I would probably just do my business. I wouldn't. It didn't take me forever to do my business.
Well,
I do my business and go on my day.
when you're a 10-year-old with a diet of only chicken nuggets and French fries, it sometimes it's a little difficult. I mean, Scott, did you have any preferred reading? Were you much of a reader? In those instances, what do you guys do? Growing up, I thought Bobby would agree with me, so I kind of had a thing planned, but now it's a little diverted.
So what I would do back in the day was a little weird.
Oh no, I accidentally discovered one of his
what I used to do.
Yeah.
No, back in the day, they used to have those.
Oh my God, guys, it's back. This is here. I'm gonna share my camera here. We'll see if this works. If you can get the camera up and running right now.
Yeah. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
I am on the Great New York State Thruway outside of Syracuse, New York, and I am passing a city bus. And the city bus is for the CTA. That is the Chicago Transit Agency. There's a Chicago city bus driving down the Thruway in the middle of New York State.
Why?
I don't know. That's what I'm concerned. That's what I'm wondering. That's why I'm freaking out.
You think they're taking over the state? They're planning an invasion?
Man, if there was a CTA bus route that went through New York, that'd be kind of funny. I'd go to Chicago that way.
Are you sure it's Chicago and it's not like I don't know, Claremont or something like that? Claremont, New Jersey?
It literally says RandChicago.com on the side of it. A big CTA. There's only one CTA with that logo. It's copywritten logo. Trademark.
See, this is why we need to defund public transit, because they're wasting our tax money, if you live in Chicago and you're paying tax money towards this public transit, they're taking your tax money and giving it to these New Yorkers to contribute nothing.
Well, it's not even in service. I think it's driving back to Chicago. Who knows why it went to Chicago.
All right. Back to my story. Okay. So
yeah, it sounded like we were about to uncover something strange.
I never really knew about that games and stuff like that, so I would just use the bathroom, and that would be me. But then when I started getting phones, I was like, oh no, you can't use the phone in the bathroom. That's not a place to use a phone. I just wouldn't use it in the bathroom. Then eventually the day came where like I was playing this really cool app. It was called like the Gun app or something, and all it was like 3D animations of you able to like swipe.
Yeah, you could make different gun sounds, and it would like vibrate your phone, right? Yeah. I remember that.
Literally.
Assembly 3D, which was like that, but then you could like go.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one too. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, so I was so enamored into it. Like I had been playing with it, fucking around with it. And I'm like, all right, now I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So I still used it, and then I was like, why'd I ever not use it in the bathroom? So then from that day forward, I just play games. Whatever game I was playing, whether it was like Doodle Jump or I know like some baseball game was big.
Yeah, see, I mean, it
like
probably
home run, whatever it was.
It probably sounds like kind of like a bit of a private thing to ask, but like I have never in my life, I don't know how people just sit there in silence. Like, I'd start getting nervous and clenched, if I'm being honest.
That's because we're Zoomers.
Like, man, they get nervous when you. Like, what do you mean you get nervous? You're taking a crap and you're like, first of all, you're taking a crap in your own home, and you're like, oh god, I have anxiety, what's going on?
It's just too quiet.
It's just,
dude, I'd love that, man. Oh my god, you're in your own home. It'd be one thing if you were like trying to take a public crap, but you're in your own home and it's like, like
In the
Yeah, it's
sound of
those
silence.
mundane things that
Travis, you're a peculiar man.
You said I'm an appealing. Oh no 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 no! Oh no!
Did
you
you
call-
just fluff it?
I fluffed it big time. I was trying to help my Korok friend out. And I just
Oh, don't-
crashed the Titanic.
Oof.
Oh
I
no!
heard this new Zelda game. You could take things and put them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
All right. So let's do it. Let's get into it because I have thoughts and I have a lot of thoughts.
well. There was
No. I just wanted to say that to get.
yeah
you
yeah
out,
no
but
we
we're not
can get
talking
into it
about
later. We'll wait till we have a
Can we
lull
get
we
into
need
it
to
now?
fill. You have to be respectful of our coast coast man, our co-host Costa Rico.
Yeah.
Well then I think it's time. Scott would very much enjoy this if I introduced a reluctant special guest. Does not want to be on the podcast.
I had a feeling
Won't be
this was
introduced
coming.
Anyway.
No. We're not doing this on the podcast. I asked for this outside of podcast hours 3 times. It's not happening on the podcast. No way, Jose.
This is like Jerry Springer now. We're just throwing things at people out of surprise.
No, we're not doing it. Not today.
I think it'll be funny just to see how all the spaghetti fall out of Travis's pockets.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Friend of the show, special guest, introducing for the first time Queen City Finance. How's it going, Queen City Finance?
Doesn't sound like she's very excited.
Any words?
So,
Doesn't sound like
Queen
she's
City
gonna
Finance.
podcast.
How do you want to introduce yourself? Do you have any?
No. We're not putting Queen City Finance on the podcast. She obviously doesn't want to be here. She's stuck with her cuck of a man. Who does a podcast.
This is like, this is tense. Like you guys have like some sort of like rocky relationship.
Yeah, I'm not putting my finances out
It's a
there.
love triangle. Scott loves me, and he thinks Queen City Finance is a threat because I'm, there's a connection there.
What are you going off about? No, that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Okay, deny it all you want. That's just projection.
Projection of what?
Appeal to authority.
Owned.
What are you talking about?
Incompetence fallacy.
Oh, I got one. The Unabomber. The Boston Marathon bomber.
Wait, wait.
Incompetence.
No, that's not how. These are logical fallacies. That's just terrorism. That's not a logical fallacy.
Fallacy.
Well, no, terrorism is a fallacy too, because it was George Bush who did it.
This is just incoherent. Like,
Yeah, that's the point.
like I've met
Travis,
schizophrenic people who make better points than this.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you don't let me talk about Tears of the Kingdom. I just,
That wasn't even you. You just started saying fallacies, and then we just went somewhere else entirely.
This dude was definitely looking up fallacies before the pod started, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna say this, just
They're gonna
just
think I'm
so
so
I can
cool.
get in their head." Yeah, they're gonna think I'm cool that I know all this stuff, and I'm like,
holy crap, man.
really?
We just turned a corner, and there's a sunset right in front of us. Beautiful.
See, okay, so I got really curious. So I looked up like the sunset times in like New York City area versus Dallas, and then versus like Los Angeles. Dallas really does have like goated sunsets because this time of year, like tonight, the sun's setting at 8:21 p.m. and the sun rises at like 6:30. Unlike you guys, like you actually get more sunshine than we do because you're further north, but you guys get fucking daybreak dawn at 5:30 in the morning. Like that's fucking wild.
The greatest state in the world, buddy.
Okay. And I think it's pretty goated. That's goated with the sauce.
Let's go to the sauce.
But you guys have
Busting
your
it down.
sunsets at like 7, you know. Meanwhile, we're getting them at 8.
Yeah, our sun is setting. It's 8:18 right now. So
You know, I am gonna make
I
a
I
Tears of
don't get
the,
what's so goated about a later sunset. I don't get it.
because it's nice later. The day's longer, and it's after work. Like back when I was working till 6:30 every night. So for those that don't
It's
know,
so
I
very
worked from
much
8 a.m. to 6:30 for about 2 years. And like for a big chunk of the year, I would not be off during any sunlight at all. You know, the sun would, it would be dawn at like 7:45 or something, and the sun would set at like 5:30. And so this time of year, it meant that not only do I get sunlight, but I get 3 hours of it. Plus, it's nice having my windows open longer. I love
Wow.
sunlight.
once again, we show how truly cucked Travis is. That he's like, I get 3 hours of sunlight. I'm afforded 3 hours of sunlight. Thank you, benevolent overlords, for letting me have 3 hours of sunlight during these periods of time.
Dude, listen, I was not crazy about it. But I mean, man, everyone needs a job. So, I mean, if you were to like blindfold me and take me to like some feudal company town, and you said like either you work here or you're gonna go homeless, I without a doubt would just become a serf. Not that I want to, but it would for sure happen. I couldn't imagine not having a job.
I can imagine it. Eventually, businesses are better than jobs anyway, since you're in control of whatever's going on.
Sometimes, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, and maybe this isn't a hard and fast rule, or maybe I'm wrong or whatever. I think I'm right, and maybe this is where Coin City Finance can step in and be the deciding vote. But I think businesses get, like, if things go bad in the economy, businesses get burned way more than employees do. Especially depending on how you structure a company. Like, if it's, a sole prop or something, you're opening a lot of liability, a lot of chance to lose everything.
It's heavily dependent on the market conditions and what you're in. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying is, yeah, the market conditions, obviously. That's why if there's a crash that's not good, it'd be worse for you than it would for a W-2 employee.
I mean, I think it depends on the size of the business, right? A small businesses, definitely, right? Mom and pop businesses where they put a lot of, the old term of sweat equity in, sweatquity, if you will. I won't, but you can.
I'll start saying it for you. I like it.
If you put a lot of sweat equity in that is a business. Yeah. If you go under, you're SOL. But like a large corporation. A large corporation is just going to slice employees and they will survive. But either way...
It's sort of. And maybe I'm thinking more of banks than anything else, but there's still a lot of opportunity for them to go under too, Yeah,
but they're not... So, the big difference is, right, so a small business, presumably... The owners of that small business have put in a lot of their savings into the business.
Yeah.
And they have a lot vested in it personally, so that if the business goes down, they lose a lot of money. I'll say this, they lose a large percentage of their net worth if the business goes down. Whereas a
well, I'm not disagreeing that they lose more. I'm just saying that like a big business also has a really high chance of going under.
But I would say that in a big business, the executives of a large business that is established, they don't put any of their net worth into the business. Not any net worth that they accrued outside of the business. Sure, they will.
Yeah, besides like equity and stuff, but yeah, I know what you mean.
think that is, you should consider that the same, right? Like, before they took the job, they weren't working up, other jobs to save up money to get that equity. That equity is part of the job as, as an executive.
Sort of. I mean, think of like and maybe I'm missing your question here, but like a Jeff Bezos, for example. Since he poured all his savings into that, and he's retained, I think, a lot of what he's made as equity because buy, borrow, die, and borrowing against stocks and stuff like that.
Maybe I should use the differentiator, I should say. Not necessarily small business versus large business, but small business owner founder versus large business non-founder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can make that distinction.
So if you're of a company that has been around for 100 years.
Oh my God!
And you're not a founder, then
what happens to the Korok?
Did he pull after you? No. Okay.
No, I got pulled by dead hands. Oh, this is so fucked.
Ooh.
Get the Korok,
Anyway,
not me.
Yeah, I know. I can see what you mean, but like I said, it comes down to, like I said, if you're structuring your business properly. Like, let's say you were a sole prop, right? Your life savings went into it.
Yeah.
If you're able to pull that money out in profit, everything after that is,
at the same time, if you're a W-2 worker, and you lose your job, that's still your livelihood. Like, you're still, most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. If you lose your job, you're, 1 week away from homelessness. So it's kind of a similar
which is
situation.
just bad financial.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, they're in poverty and they can't afford to, they try, but things pop up and they don't make enough money to push through.
I think, and it may have gone up since I heard this, I think 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
60?
Yeah, and let's double check that. Jamie, pull that shit up. Okay.
Hold up.
Let's do it, Joe. It's actually you're fact check. Oh no, I actually right on the money. As of January 2023, 60% of United States adults. Yeah. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's wild. And here's the flip side of that too. All those people lose their jobs. If you are not, even if you're business to business, but like, if you own a business, you're gonna have a much lower customer base. People are gonna be less willing to buy, especially depending on what the product is. If it's elastic or not. And even elasticity, isn't always a great measure for things. Although I guess I would typically go in the reverse.
Now we're talking real macro and microeconomics. Elastic demand. I mean, it's all just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
It is.
Like, people don't need high-end drapes, when there's a recession going on. They'll settle for the lower-end drapes. If that's your business, you might see a hit, yes. But if you live in a big city, I mean, more millionaires are made in a recession than anything else. So
say that last part again.
More millionaires are made in a recession than any other economic time. So.
Yeah, because a lot of billionaires become millionaires.
A lot of what? Billionaires what?
You said a lot of billionaires become millionaires.
No. There's a transfer of wealth.
I mean, there is a lot of opportunity for, if you, for example, in 2008, I think this happened with a lot of people, is if you have the capital to go in and buy all these foreclosed homes and do whatever needs to be done with them and hold on to them for a couple of years, pay the property tax, pay the mortgage on it, you can turn a lot of money, a lot of profit. So there is some truth to that, yeah.
One of the things that, and this happens in a bunch of cities. What you can do is, in a situation like 2008, where housing prices really low, you buy a lot of foreclosed homes, and then you don't do anything with them, and you don't pay the property taxes, and then they just all go into disrepair, and then the city crumbles. And that's what you can do.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good way of doing it, honestly.
If you want, you can move into an HOA neighborhood and park a RV on your front lawn. And if anyone ever, finds you, just don't pay the fine. Just kidding. This is not advice. This is a fun little hypothetical.
Fine. I want to know what happens if you don't pay an HOA fine. Like, do they take you to small claims?
Do you think I should look that up? Because I'm kind of curious too. Let's figure it out.
But like, what if you just, blow the judge?
Well, that would be incredibly illegal.
Well, yeah, obviously, but at the same time.
Yeah, no, this makes sense. And this is in Texas. This is what they call it. Property debt harassment. I've seen, hey. So it says they can put a lien on your property, which, it sounds pretty, yeah, that makes sense. You can also be sued personally. If you believe an HOA lien is unfair, understand your options. Dude, there's probably some guy out there who's just super, super fucking cool. Moves into an HOA neighborhood, doesn't pay any of the fines, and then wins in court. Saying that it's unfair.
I mean, HOAs are just garbage anyway, so it's like.
What I would do if I were in an HOA neighborhood in Texas, and I guess is only good for Texas. It's if the HOA president were to come give me the fine, and they were to post the fine at my address, I would simply shoot them in the face for.
No, you're not. Property. This is. He's making a joke, but it's.
That's legal. I mean, they're trespassing on my property.
Well, actually, that's not even. We actually in my business law we talked about this sort of thing. It's actually the news makes it seem like it's a lot easier than it actually is for people to do that. But there's a lot of precedence about it, and I mean. I don't remember much more than that. But it's. I think Florida is a much more threatening state in that sense than Texas is.
Yeah, didn't they allow open carry recently for anyone and everyone?
I think Texas did that too. In fact, I think Texas did that first. In fact, I think something like 34 states have legalized constitutional carry. At this point, I think.
That's beautiful. I'm loving it. I'm telling you, those states' crime rates are gonna go way down. I guarantee it.
It's like the meme of the Katy Freeway, which is the big 7-lane one, 7 lane each direction.
We should not be turning any country or any state into Diet Texas.
Oh my god!
Who just joined?
Look at that!
Whoa! Who is this guy coming into the podcast?
Do you want me to give you a big time introduction for the folks at home?
Almost. If only we could get some very much wanted to be expressed opinions about things from a special guest who will not express her opinion.
Real quick, let's say, what do you want to be called on this?
Just call me Eric.
Call you Eric? All right.
It's Eric.
Listen,
What
hey
about
everyone.
last name?
We've got Eric Dinblington here. He has been a slated fourth guest that we've had in the works for quite some time. Anytime we post a video, we have an Eric fan club. And they've said, when are we going to hear him? We're excited to hear him. And ladies and gentlemen, whoops. That's right. He's finally here. Everyone give a round of applause for Eric.
I don't think you're supposed to be clapping cheeks on YouTube, Travis.
Eric, what a guy, what a man, a myth, a legend.
Oh no, I forgot the Korok.
Legend.
Is it now, Travis? May we now begin the discussion?
Of Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Enjoy.
It'll be short.
All right.
Look, it's only three of us here who play video games. I forgot.
I have lots.
Listen, I
So
play
first
video
of all-
games, okay?
I
Well,
don't know if
first
you
of
can
all-
call those games video games, to be fair.
Yeah, Call of Duty is a video game. Thank you. I'm actually playing it right now. I just died, so like.
Why don't
I'm
you join the conversation from the perspective? Just pretend Call of Duty is Tears of the Kingdom. You can add that way. Tell us about the cool zombies and stuff you're fighting.
Yeah, how you shot Ganondorf with the AR-15.
Well, this is a World War II based shooter game.
Actually,
There's
yeah.
AR-15.
They don't have
Um,
Arclight 15s back then.
Yeah, they don't have Armalite 15s.
Armalite 15. That's right. I knew that.
Yeah. Because remember, the AR-15 is just a buzzword for a copyrighted term for a certain type of rifle. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well, right. So to start this out, because we'll probably end up clipping this. For anyone who doesn't know, there was a big game that came out on May 12th, 2023. After 6 years, we got the long-awaited sequel to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Boy, what cool it is. Let me just say, I just finished Breath of the Wild right before playing Tears of the Kingdom. And it felt like a Marvel movie sequel. Like where they just pick right up and you should know the lore already. Like this is a sequel, buddy. We're not messing around here. Boy, that was a beginning. The beginning of Tears of the Kingdom is probably one of my favorite beginnings of any video game. I think it started perfectly. I just think it started perfectly. It made me feel very into it. It made me feel very, I felt like the princess's royal knight. It was definitely a great start to the long-awaited video game. I was loving that little cave, the cave start.
Sorry, just checking something. No, it's not me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you caught this or not, but there are a lot of references just packed into those first 5 minutes.
Also, to piggyback on the Marvel movie point, it is a sequel, but also it's good, unlike Marvel movies.
It's in the first couple minutes, it goes from mentioning the imprisoning war, which I won't say too much more beyond that because I don't want to spoil anything in the game. But that took place right before A Link to the Past in the Zelda timeline. So that was a pre-established thing. And all of a sudden they're referencing it. And they mention Rauru, who was the Sage of Light in Ocarina of Time. Although Rauru in this reincarnation, this iteration, looks different. It's possible that they're different individuals, but it shows that they're finally beckoning back to their past after historically Zelda has done an awful job at being self-referential and maintaining some sort of continuity, some sort of timeline, and I think they finally started caring.
Well, I think it's self-referential just in the fan service aspect, but I don't necessarily think that they're acknowledging the other games as super canonical, other than just Breath of the Wild. Like, I think it's a new universe. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom is kind of a new universe, but they are going to say, no, you're still going to have the old enemies from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and like we're going to make mention to these old, characters just because we understand that this game is actually like the 10th in the series or whatever. But I don't necessarily believe that it's that they are trying to state that Link to the Past is in the same canon, in the same universe as this one. I just think they're just making references that make people like you soy face, which is fair. That's what they were expecting.
They did that a bunch in Breath of the Wild. There was like a Tingle Island. There was a Makar Island, which is the Korok in Wind Waker. There's something named after everyone. And I mean that does make me soy face, but to see some sort of like lore injection of that sort of thing, I think is pretty cool.
Well, let's talk about lore. I mean, first of all, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to talk about the stuff I love first, and then later we can talk about what I don't actually like about Tears of the Kingdom. But
okay,
in terms of lore, oh my God, Tears of the Kingdom is so full of lore. They really expand upon the universe of Breath of the Wild. It really feels like as much as on a previous podcast, I mentioned how Breath of the Wild feels like what you would expect. It feels exactly like what you would want Hyrule to feel like after 100 years of this, impressive, Calamity Ganon, like, destroying the universe. And I will say, one thing that you pointed out last time I talked about this, I said people who grew up, before the collapse, and now they're, the world collapsed, and you said it was 100 years ago, so it wouldn't even be the same generation. So many of the characters in The Legend of Zelda live to be over 100 years old. Lady Impa, the Ritos.
Yeah, the Zora.
All of the Zora.
I don't know if the Ritos do, but the Zoras definitely do, yeah.
The Ritos do. But pretty much all of the chiefs of all of the main kingdoms are, old enough to remember before it happened. I mean, you have the scientists, right? You have Pura.
Sure,
Pura
yeah,
is like
123 or 25. Yeah, no, I mean you're right, actually.
So a lot of the characters and a lot of the races in the game, a lot of the species in the game, can live to well over 100 years old. So they were alive before Calamity Ganon. But anyway, that's a tangent. I will say, so that was how I felt about Breath of the Wild, that it felt perfectly like capturing what they wanted to capture. Tears of the Kingdom is exactly the same. So far, it feels like everything was back to normal, and then we were doing some exploring, just some, good times exploring, and all of a sudden stuff went right back to crap again, and now we have to explore stuff.
Yeah.
Like, all the research stuff, it felt like this is not 100 years after a great calamity, it's like a couple weeks after something went wrong.
Yeah, I get the impression, I don't know how long it's been, but I would think maybe about a year, I guess.
Yeah, it's given me like a year, maybe.
I get the impression it hasn't been that long. I get the impression that things went back to normal, that it's been a few years since Breath of the Wild,
right?
But only a short amount of time since the Great Upheaval, because the so far what I'm getting from it is, and I haven't been to Rito Village. I just got the Kakariko Village. I haven't really been doing any main story. I haven't played that much. But what I get from it is that it's been a few years after we defeated Calamity Ganon, everything kind of went back to normal, and now Princess Zelda is super into, studying history. So she has a lot of people that are doing, archaeology. She did an archaeological dig, and it went tits up. And now the Great Upheaval, and now everyone has to, figure that stuff out.
Yeah. So, hold on. I gotta save my Korok boy over here. As for the actual gameplay start of the game, the Great, I almost called it the Great Plateau. The Great Sky Islands is so much better than the Great Plateau. It's a lot more linear, but it's such a beautiful area, and the way they start you off with that momentous dive downwards. I mean, it's like exhilarating in the same way the trailer was. You know, where it's playing
Yeah, I
that
agree with
hyped
that.
up music. Yeah.
I think I liked. I mean, getting into the Great Sky Island, and I was fully immersed in after, because like the beginning, the you know, the cave beginning. I was fully, it got me fully enveloped in this story, and now I'm in the Great Sky Island. It got me fully into it, um, and I enjoyed it. But I have to, from a Zelda gameplay standpoint, I kind of have to disagree with you. I kind of like the Great Plateau a bit better because it was more open, because of how linear the Great Sky Island. Like, you literally can't leave the Great Sky Island until you finish it. It's a level. And I think what Breath of the Wild was good at was, as soon as you were given the ability to like move around and like be open world, you could just go at Ganon with a stick. Like, and it was truly open world from the very get-go.
Well, you still had to
And-
beat the Great Plateau.
I mean, yeah, you still get to the Great Plateau, but it's not as immediate. Like, Breath of the Wild, I'm thinking of it in terms of speedrunning, right? Breath of the Wild, skip the beginning cutscene, and all of a sudden, boom, you're playing it. And even if you do a glitch-free speedrun, boom, you're playing it. Whereas with Tears of the Kingdom, you have the whole linear cave thing, which is basically just an interactive cutscene, and then you have the whole Sky Island, which is very linear, and you have to get that done. And then you can get to doing all of the main stuff. But at the same time, from a casual perspective, if you're only playing it once through, oh, beautiful. Just loved it.
Yeah, I will give you that. I think the difference between the Great Plateau versus the Great Sky Islands is how big of a deal is the actual, like, sandbox element of the beginning of the game to you.
I think for Breath of the Wild, it was when you realize how sandboxy it is, revolutionary. I think that was revolutionary because it was truly a sandbox from beginning to end. Whereas, even more so than like Grand Theft Auto, because Breath of the Wild, there was no really main, like, mandatory quest. I mean, I guess you have to get some of the what's it called, the abilities, but the runes. But at the same time, you don't necessarily need to. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, they cut back some of the sandboxing, but they do add a lot more stuff. And I guess the other thing about Breath of the Wild that I kind of like Breath of the Wild better for is it's a little less complex. Tears of the Kingdom is very complex with the amount of mechanics and the amount of stuff, which makes sense in terms of it being a sequel, but at the same time, Breath of the Wild, was more pure. It was more simplistic and pure. It had more replayability so far.
I think by the time you get to the end of Tears of the Kingdom, it's going to have way more replayability. I mean, just for one, you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of the fuseability. Not the fuseability, but what's the Ultra Hand? Ultra Hand is gonna have so much stuff, and for months to come, and maybe even years, you're gonna see people come up with insane devices. It's gonna be like Redstone was for Minecraft, where people are building straight up computers and stuff on there. I'm already seeing some crazy devices. Like, people will take a couple mechanisms and they'll create like a push pull, and they'll use it to.
I saw someone make a multi-stage rocket out of like wood planks and sonar rockets. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
So maybe that thing is people say when Breath of the Wild came out, people maligned it for not. There's a lot of criticism for it not feeling like a Zelda game.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like a traditional Zelda game. I think, and I defend. I said Breath of the Wild still feels like a Zelda game. I think Tears of the Kingdom has crossed the line for me from where it feels like a real Zelda game to it just feels like a kind of its own thing now. Like it's a game with Zelda as the theme, but I think it's more than just a. Oh, there's an Arcop. More than just a Zelda. He's looking at his dick. More than just a Zelda. Like, there's just so much. It's basically Minecraft. I mean, it's literally Minecraft. There's mining and there's crafting.
Well, I mean, actually, sir, there's a main story which Minecraft famously does not have.
As a main story, you have to beat the Ender Dragon.
And not for a long time, and you still don't have to do it.
And in Tears of the Kingdom, you have to beat Ganondorf. And you don't have to do it in Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, you can keep playing without doing the main story.
And
well,
the
that's
crazy part
okay.
is,
That's
like,
dumb.
I still haven't fumbled into like a way to like beat Ganondorf early, if it's even possible.
He hasn't even been introduced yet for me. Like,
I've seen
obviously
that
you got like the
cutscene
mummy
movie.
one, but
In it. Apparently, and that's why I say, like, I kind of respect the guy that the GameStop employee. So, Dendi, when we started, I said the GameStop employee I was talking to when on May 12th, when I went to buy my amiibo, he said he hadn't even seen the trailer. Like, he's like going into it completely blind. He won't watch the trailer. He won't read the tweet.
Right.
And so it's gonna be wild for him to be like, holy shit, like he doesn't even know there are dungeons, he doesn't even know that there's Ganondorf, like, and yeah, Ganondorf hasn't been introduced for me. I haven't seen the first dungeon, I've just kind of exploring, and I mean the mine is wild. Like the depths is insane. Like that is way more, and I guess it does feel Zelda-y, but it is like more. It's like it's wild. The whole thing is wild, dude. It's a lot. It's just a lot to take in.
Yeah, like
So
3
big-
full-size overworlds is pretty wild.
Yeah, and to all the people that keep and that were saying like, oh, they're just using the same map. They're just using the same map. Well, first of all, of course they're fucking using the same map. It's a direct sequel. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, not like, what is he gonna do? Go to someplace else? Like, it's not like Majora's Mask or Phantom Hourglass, where like it's a sequel, but it's more of a spiritual sequel. It is a direct fucking sequel. So yes, they're gonna have the same map. I just think it's amazing that they like. I'm glad. I knew that they were gonna have the sky stuff because they had to refresh the map to a certain extent. But the whole depth's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they did a good job changing the map up enough to to be novel on a revisit. Here's a big complaint I had with Breath of the Wild, and I think I sent you guys pictures and kind of talked about it a bit in the prelude to this game coming out. But in Breath of the Wild, there was a lot of unused space. I ended up kind of like realizing this like a month or two before Tears of the Kingdom came out. And like, if you were to go behind Death Mountain, so right to the north of Death Mountain, there's a passage that leads from the Akali region past the mountain and onto the west of it. But there's nothing there. There's no shrines. There's like a Lionel, and there's like a skeleton you can discover. But that's it. There's nothing else going on there. And I was like, okay, how many other spots am I missing? And I found this interesting like little pond with a bunch of islands on it, and I found like a hidden waterfall, and I found all these spots that geographically are pretty cool. The problem is you have no incentive to go there during gameplay, and beyond like saying, oh yeah, that's cool, or maybe finding a Korok or two there, there's no reason to really stumble into it. And something I really want to see in this game, and I think they will, even if it's like with like the Korok friend quests, is I think they'll find a way to incorporate those games. They'll find a way to incorporate those locations in a way that like brings your focus to parts of the map that have always been there, but never really crossed the conscious mind in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, I get like some of the spots that are unused, but I liked, in terms of the open spaces, I really liked how some of the open spaces in Breath of the Wild, the places that you would pass through to get from one spot to another, that were just, there was nothing there, but it was open, and it just felt like it made the world feel massive and the world real. Like, it was
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm in this big open field. Like, there's some horses here, and there's probably maybe some, bokoblins or whatever. But yeah, I didn't mind that. But yeah, I think Tears of the Kingdom does feel a little more busy. I guess is a little less empty so far. Because
There's
one of the things
yeah.
that happens is you'll be walking in the middle of what seems like nowhere, and all of a sudden a piece of debris will just fall from the fucking sky and like almost hit you in the head.
Yeah, and I mean, you can reverse it too and get like a pretty good glimpse of the map and think, hey, is there someone else I can
and you can go
navigate
up.
to? Since we're already on the topic, there's this guy, and I stumbled upon this video either today or yesterday or something. And I think the guy's name is like Any Austin on YouTube. And he put out this video that was like odd and unremarkable places in Breath of the Wild. And it's kind of getting at what we're talking about here, where there's a lot of spaces in Breath of the Wild where there's just nothing really going on, and you kind of like stumble upon them, and it's just it's like a liminal space type of thing. And it's interesting to see. What?
Is this the video where the guy bitches that everything is Korok seed?
No, I don't think so. This is just a guy who goes from place to place in Breath of the Wild and is like, this is an odd and unremarkable spot. This is an odd and unremarkable spot. And he just kind of talks about like how empty these spots are. And it's, it's an interesting concept for a video. Because it's bringing attention to something that otherwise would not really get much attention in that game.
There was a video I saw where the guy said he was upset that it was just shrines and Koroks, but were the two big collectibles. Well, the Koroks are the collectible, but the shrines are the other thing. That every area he went to, every time he saw a kind of cool spot in the map, even the ones that weren't empty, all that they were was just maybe a Korok seed or just a shrine. And he said that was unremarkable, that it didn't feel special, that it felt just copy and pasted. Go to the top of the mountain, and at the top of the mountain, it's just a Korok seed. It's not something that's lore and special to that top of the mountain. But
yeah,
Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
It's made by hand. It's like hard to make everything so special.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I'm excited for Tears of the Kingdom, because it took 6 years to come out. They had enough time to make a lot of special things.
Yeah, and to really fill out the map. So let's jump to some general thoughts about the game. Give me a second here.
Yeah, I got a lot. I'm glad they fixed cooking. I'm glad they fixed cooking. They added the recipe cards. At the same time, I like the recipe cards. I don't like the recipe cards. I think the concept of the recipe cards is really good, but I'm a little upset that it doesn't tell you what the ingredient, it just shows you the picture. And then also it's kind of annoying because everything has the same name. You have to like see what variants they are. But cooking is good. I like how they fixed cooking. There's a couple other things I noticed just from the Sky Island they fixed. That was like, oh my god, this is so much better now. I can't remember. The controls. The fact that you hold the L button to get the abilities, as opposed to doing the up arrow to get the ability. And now the up arrow allows you to quickly drop an item. I love that. That makes it so much more convenient. And then
It's something I'm still getting used to.
yeah, it's what takes me a second to get
It's
used
something
to
else.
is you can't just hover over the item and let go and it'll drop it. You have to actually hit X, which kind of like, because that means that the way it works is if you hover over the item and let go, then the next time you hit the up arrow, that item is selected. So if you're in like the heat of, if you want to prepare for battle, to get that menu set up so that it's quicker in the moment, which is good.
Yeah.
And I like the one type of arrow and then you just attach stuff to it. I really like that mechanic. And what was the other thing that they fixed? When you open a chest with a weapon or a bow or a shield and you're filled up, it will show the other weapons in your thing, allow you to sort it by type, and also have the stats for those weapons so that you can drop a weapon without having to go into your inventory. Like in Breath of the Wild, if you get a chest with a weapon, you have to. It tells you cannot pick it up, so the chest closes. You have to go into your inventory, find the item, the weapon that you want to drop the weapon, go back to the chest. Whereas in Tears of the Kingdom, you open the chest and it gives you a menu to just drop the item right there. Love that. That is so nice.
Yeah, it got really annoying trying to go back and forth and say, wait, what was the power on this? What was the, toughness of this?
I will say it would be nice if there was like a fuse option in like when you're opening up your inventory and you're just looking at everything. It would be nice if there was an option to where you could like pair weapons in that interface.
Yeah.
You've been fusing weapons together? I haven't done that yet. I thought about it, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that's a pretty.
So here's something I actually really only figured out. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Okay, so how like what is it? So if you fuse two claymores together, like is it make a giant claymore?
Yeah. But here's something I really only figured out. Give me 1 second real quick. That I only really figured out like yesterday. Give me a second. And it's in your inventory, like a lot of the Zonai stuff and the monster horns and stuff like that you get. You can go in your inventory and then drop those and fuse those. And those are like way more effective fuses. And they look a lot cooler too. Compared to the just attaching two random weapons in the wild together.
Yeah. Everything. So that is something that I think that's a game mechanic that is really cool. Is that everything has several purposes. You can use all materials in multiple ways. You can cook a material, you can throw a material, and you can fuse a material, and you can attach a material to an arrow, and you can do all four of those things with the same material, and they all have different effects. Like I was starting to, I'd make my elixirs with the keef wings.
Yeah.
And then I had to say, wait a second, I shouldn't be using this, monster part, because this monster part actually is more effective if I attach it to an arrow. But I can use it to make an elixir. And, I can, take apples and throw them at stuff to activate things. I just think that whole mechanic where you have, several different ways of using the same material. Some materials... you can cook and it'll have an effect, or you can throw, use it on an arrow and have an effect, or everything has a fuse. Yeah, everything has, a fuse meter, a fuse rate. And, that, so you can fuse it to weapons and stuff. That is so cool that they all have several purposes. That's that's going to be such a big mechanic of, okay, I have to ration. I can only use so many, that's it. The fire fruit. Fire fruit gives you a heat
fire arrow.
attack.
Yeah. Oh, on your weapon. Yeah.
If you cook a fire, it gives you a food. You can eat the fire fruit once you cook it. The dish that a fire fruit makes gives you an attack up in a hot area.
Yeah.
So you have to now, and then also you attach it to an arrow, and it blows up, it catches stuff on fire. You attach it, you throw it at something, and it catches stuff on fire. Like I have to ration my fire fruit to say like, oh, I need to keep some for arrows, some for cooking, some for this. That is so cool. That is such a cool mechanic.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna give my general thoughts real quick, and then I'm gonna let Dindy give his, and then we'll we'll bring it back so Shot can get back in. So give me 1 second here. God damn.
Like in the Kingdom.
Say what?
There are a couple of things that I don't like about Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah, everything's I like this and stuff you hate that, but
bring them out real quick. Tell us what you don't like.
Towers. I don't like the towers.
Okay.
I like the old Breath of the Wild towers better. They were more fun. And then it's just a very complex game. It's just growing on me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
God damn it! Give me 1 second. I got something in my throat. Okay. And there we go. So yeah, I really enjoyed Breath of the Wild. Although at times I felt like it wasn't Zelda enough, which we've covered already in this conversation, a lot. And I always thought that you can go somewhere from here if you were to take the more traditional elements. There's a lot of tried and true elements to Zelda games that we know work well and work so well that other game series have been hawking these things for decades. And if you brought some of those back, like when, for example, when you're doing a dungeon, don't do the same dungeon copy pasted 4 times. Make the aesthetic different, make it fit with the lane, make me wonder what this thing is, where it came from, what's the lore around it. Same thing with the boss. One of my favorite Zelda bosses of all time is Adalwa from Majora's Mask, and the reason I liked it so much was because it was so bizarre, and it really fit in with the aesthetic of the temple, and it created something that was bigger than the sum of its parts. And I thought, I understand that they're not going to bring items back in the traditional sense. I do like a lot of the more free-roaming, climb wherever elements to this game. But I thought they could tether it with the dungeons, make the side quests a little bit more, personal. Majora's Mask is the book that you can take that out of. Have a strong reward system instead of it being just like 100 rupees, 300 rupees. Make them deep, make them complex. Anju and the Anju Cafe quest from Majora's Mask, which I know, Bobby, you haven't played yet, I think sets a benchmark for side quests in gaming in general. And having things like that with all these interlocking parts that flesh out not one character, not 2 characters, but the world as a whole, I think are amazing and are invaluable in the experience. But I'm pleasantly surprised with everything so far. I'm glad they brought the shrines back. I love the physics-based puzzles. I had some qualms about the new suite of abilities, but they're kind of growing on me. I still wish I had Cryonesis and Stasis, but that's neither here nor there. But generally, yeah, I'm expecting it to be better than Breath of the Wild. I'm really enjoying it.
You can still make ice blocks.
Can you?
Yeah, you just have to throw something made of ice in the water, and then it'll make an ice block.
Well, there we go. We're still finding things out. And how about you, Eric? What are your thoughts?
You pretty much summed them up for me, actually. I agree, especially with Majora's Mask having, I think, the best world building of any Zelda game. They could definitely take pages from that and bring it over, because I could see a quest like Anju and Cafe fitting right into Tears of the Kingdom, or even actually being better than it would be in Majora's Mask in that game. But yeah, I mean, they're really exploring the narrative elements of these games, and doing it.
To your point, Terrytown I think was a good example of that. It had a lot of moving parts, and it added a lot to the game and the world.
Yeah, I haven't spent too much time there in Tears, but I'm thinking it's gonna have quite a bit to it as well. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Hey, yeah, I love the narrative elements. Big Zelda fan in the early days of like Link to the Past and Finish Cap and stuff. And she says that her favorite part of Zelda was always like the puzzle solving, which you get out of the dungeons, right? Like all the puzzle solving in the dungeons, like you have to use an item and how to use the item. And I think some of the shrines don't like, but I do some of the shrines so far, and especially with the Ultra Hand and like the crafting stuff, has really changed the puzzle solving a lot and really added a lot to the puzzle solving in the shrines.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to really enjoy the shrines now. That they're a lot more complex than Breath of the Wild because the abilities are a lot more complex. That being said, I'm with you, Travis. A lot of them, I don't like Fuse. I'm just going to say it. I don't like the Fuse ability. I know that's a core mechanic of the game. Don't know if I mean, it might grow on me, but so far I don't like it. And I don't like the mining. I don't know.
I'm okay with the mining. Fuse. God damn. Fuse, yeah, it feels kind of rough that took up like a whole ability slot, but it's whatever.
Well, and I mean, it takes up a whole ability because they make it so integral. And
Yeah.
I just, the thing is, I like the weapons the way they were in Breath of the Wild, and I was fine with the fact that weapons had durability and they would shatter. I just liked the Breath of the Wild weapon system better. And
I
think
find that my weapons are shattering less than they would in Breath of the Wild, though, with Fuse, which I do like.
Yeah, I agree.
feel like shatter me when I use it to mine everything. I just don't like the whole like you have to mine to get elements, and that's just
Yeah,
a lot.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
there
it
are
is
a few
Minecraft, right? This is Legend of Zelda, not mine. I don't want to mine for like diamonds and
That's
stuff. I wanna,
so true.
I want to kill monsters and stuff.
Which, hey,
Exactly.
Scott, what's your favorite part of Tears of the
Of?
Kingdom?
It definitely has to be the part where you could put things together. So like once they get that aspect of going, you could start sticking things together. I mean, that leads to a million things. Like I think you can start making planes, you can start making motorcycles, you can start making cars. I mean, it's endless what you can do when you could put two things together, or edit that one thing that you already have and make it better to put it into something else.
That's so
Yeah.
general and fits so perfectly. Well done.
I mean,
Yeah,
he nailed it with that one. So beautiful game. It'll be fun talking about it in the future as we get further in.
Especially
yeah,
the part where you could take things and then put them together.
So happy about the lore. So happy about the lore.
It's literally half the game. So you did good there, pretending that you know.
I watched the trailer with you guys, and that's about it. That's all I know.
I didn't know you were there because you left the call.
Oh no, I was watching. I might have had to dip out, but I was still like watching the stream.
Oh, okay. So this is not news to you guys, but for the viewers at home, took a bit of a vacation for Tears of the Kingdom. Took some time off to enjoy my favorite video game series, and here's something really fucky. Clutch. I was getting so anxious about like just staying at home and not doing anything. Like, I don't know, is that a thing any of you guys ever get where it's like I feel guilty for I guess we kind of covered this, but like I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something right now. I can't just sit here and enjoy things.
I think you might need to see a therapist.
Maybe.
No, I don't think you need to see a therapist. I think it's very dependent on what stage of life you're in. You know, if you have big goals and dreams and they just haven't been attained yet, then yeah, you're gonna feel guilty for sitting down and doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are times where you have to do that. Like even me, I know I say the Sigma male grind set a lot, but I need to take breaks. If I wouldn't take breaks, I would go crazy.
Yeah.
Like
back
Sundays,
when, yeah.
Sunday's usually my day where I do nothing. That's like my day where I lay in bed all day, I go on my phone, I watch a couple movies, I eat, and I go to bed. Then I wake up on Monday and I'm ready to hit the hay.
It's good shit.
straight days of shit.
I think the thing is, it's how long you do nothing for, right? Like I'm fine like a weekend where you do nothing or you play video games all day on the weekend. Like I don't feel like sometimes I do feel like a little anxious, like I should be getting more done.
Yeah.
But after if I had a very busy week, like this weekend, I'm super busy.
Real quick, Jay Lemowski, Pog, welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, Poggers? He's in
Pogger,
chat?
yeah, we got a Poggers, a Pog.
He's doing Pog in chat?
He's doing a big Pog in chat.
Oh, are they doing speed cameras? I think they're doing the speed cameras. Shaw,
Yep.
you know how I've been clowning on you about them work zone speed cameras?
Yep.
Fuck them. I hate them.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, I hate them because they're affecting me now. So now I'm upset.
Yeah,
I think
there you go.
I think they made them illegal here in Texas, or at least like stoplight cameras.
And you know what the best part is? They're smart with it this time around. They put the camera on a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee. They put the camera and the high visibility all on a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee. So they move that.
So
They
is it a
move
parked vehicle?
It's a parked vehicle when it's running, but it's consistently moved. Like I'll see it on one spot one day and a different spot the next day, and sometimes I'll see it when I'm working, and sometimes I won't see them when they won't. So they're doing the smartest thing, which is being unpredictable. Once you're unpredictable, you have to not play with fire unless you're fine with being burnt.
Right.
So-
Yeah. I'm surprised. I've only seen them as like fixed onto like a traffic light. So them doing it like that is crazy.
The new work zone ones, at least the ones over here. I'm sure it's a state contract.
Would you
at
do a
this point.
cameo for a weak skin? We do not play League of Legends here. Welcome Stevie Jackson to the chat.
Stevie?
You only want the hold on. Let me see if I can do it here. Oh god.
Uh-oh.
This is such a mistake.
I know they got workers present, but like, come on, I gotta slow down so I
Hold
don't
on.
kill a guy.
Yeah, it's
Hold
like,
on.
bro, it's junk. It's junk. Nice cop stash, crop face cam.
Yeah,
for
it's
only stash.
it's only so much I can do. All right.
So we have other viewers that are clowning on Travis's mustache.
I've been
time,
told it's
honestly.
an all right mustache. Oh
Who
god,
tells-
no,
who
this
tells
is
you that,
not
man?
good. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Yolo Braintrust podcast, where
This is really gonna bring in a couple of good amount of viewers. Yeah.
you can see the brown stains on my teeth.
Oh my
Wow, they
God.
really coned this whole. They coned way too much off.
They're paving the whole thing.
Yeah, but they're not paving. They're not actively paving this part.
Calm
They
down,
call-
George Costanza. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Welcome
Sure.
to work zone speed cameras, baby. They should be illegal.
They should be.
I don't think they're right. I don't think cameras should be able to enforce the law. I think it should be people.
Like with my mustache, mine specifically. I think it looks good.
I'd like to circle back to the only female opinion in the room.
Oh,
and I'd like to
okay,
take
come on, man.
the only time that I've spoken with entire
Who is this?
conversation, It is.
Queen City Finance, baby.
I do not like your
Who's
mustache.
this Jay Lemowski guy?
Oh my God!
What is he
He's saying
insinuating?
He doesn't like
Your
your mustache
is
either.
terrible, bro.
Oh my God!
What? No, it's. Wait, what
I
are
can't-
you insinuating? Are you saying I look like a cool cop? Like
I
one of the
can't
ones
see
that.
Jay Lemowski's chat. You need to move your camera
You
back.
know what, Travis?
Have you seen Orange is the New Black? Do you
Is-
remember Porn Stash from the first season?
Oh, I remember that guy. I watched that.
Is that what I look
remember.
like?
Yeah, you kind of do.
Travis, you look like the kind of guy who, if you were a cop, you'd pull somebody over for going 66 and a 65.
Well, if they're not following, well, no, that's legal. If you said 71, that's a different story.
Oh, in New York State, 1 mile over the limit is against the law.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. It's either 20% or 5 over. I don't know which.
Which sucks. And I think the speed camera catches you at It's either 9 or 11 over.
It's
We have
11 over.
11 over, yeah.
we got a bunch of signs over here that like track your speed, and they just try to kind of like peer pressure you into slowing down.
I've seen those signs back in the day. It's like, yeah, camera or like speed monitored by aircraft. I'm like, there's no way there's a plane following us right now monitoring.
So I heard about that.
Bobby, you had a
what's
story about that, right?
So the speed monitor by aircraft, that is actually, so what they'll do is they'll fly a plane over the throughway, and they will, on the throughway, in the spots where it says that, there are little, like, white lines that are, perpendicular. Their dash is perpendicular to the normal, like, lines, and those are distance lines. So each line... Each set of lines is a known distance to the planes.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
The planes will watch you cross the first line, time you, and then they'll see when you cross the second line. And if you cross the two lines, the second line too quickly, then you get the ticket in the mail. And this one isn't automatic; it's from a guy, but he's just in an airplane. Oh, there's another cop.
No.
Were you the one who told me the story about someone challenging one of those?
Well, I said you could. Oh, yeah, the guy challenged it. You can challenge him.
Yeah.
I don't know if the guy actually did challenge it, but the thing was, in a lot of places, the lines that they use are white, and so if you get a ticket from that in like a northern area in the winter, you can just challenge and say there's too much snow on the ground. How do you know that I passed a white line and I didn't just pass like a patch of ice or a patch of salt?
Yeah, I want to say I've heard of someone like successfully challenging it. And it was on the basis of like there was some inaccuracy. I don't think it was snow, but it was something else. And they said like, listen, if you didn't get me with a traffic cop, like, how do we know you actually got it? And it ended up working, and the ticket got dismissed.
A lot of it is just a money grab by your county or the state.
Yeah.
Because I remember I got caught with a red light camera once. I shouldn't have done it. Like, yeah, I crossed the red light. It turned yellow. You know what I mean? I was going too fast to stop, so I just kept going, whatever, right?
Dude, oh my god. Reminds me of like one of the worst tickets I ever got. But yeah.
The point ended up being like they send you a letter in the mail to the registered owner, yada yada, and they're just like, oh, there's no points. We don't care who is driving the car, but since you're the registered owner, we're charging you this fee for this happened on this date. No points, no thing, no hit, whatever. But you pay the fine or we're taking your car.
See, and I feel like if you took that to a court, it would not pass the sniff test. Because how do you know you were the one driving the car?
It depends on the thing. A lot of the red light cameras, they will take a clear photo of the driver, and then you can there'll be a photo of you, and then they'll be like,
you couldn't see.
the point is, be like, that is you, like that is definitely you. That looks like your driver's license. Like you were the one driving the car. You can get out of any ticket, like any speeding ticket or anything like that, if you really fight it. It's just how much of a pain in the ass. The last speeding ticket, I just fucking wrote in guilty. Like, they were like, yeah, we can do the court over Zoom. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even want to do that. I'll just fucking pay the fine. They didn't give me points on my license. It was just...
So, were you going to challenge it initially then, if you had to do court for it?
So basically what happened was, I was, doing 90 on 90, as one does.
You have 90 mile per hour highways over there?
No,
it's 65. But the joke is that you do 90 on 90. Doing 90 on 90. I see the...
Okay.
As soon as I
get it.
Top, I'm like, all right, I'm fucked. I know I'm doing 90 on 90. He doesn't even have to put his lights on. I'm already pulled over to the side of the road. And he just comes up and he's like, all right, I'm giving it to you for 75 and a 65, so 10 over. And I went, all right. Because I think he knew that I was just going to pay the fine if he didn't give me the full 90, or I think it was like 91, and he was like, yeah, I'll just give you a 75 and a 65, and I said, okay, and then I just signed it in as guilty. I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing this shit. It ended up being no points on my license, like a $200 fine. I was like, all right.
Dude.
Touch your insurance though. That's the biggest hit.
It did fuck up my insurance a little bit, but I did a couple of things to get my insurance back down.
AKA defensive driving.
Defensive driving, yeah.
Yeah.
And also I dropped my mileage on my car. So I'm only technically allowed to drive 7,500 miles a year on my car.
Oh,
No.
dude, I never even like thought about changing that. I have no idea how much they think I drive in a year, cause
It's unlimited. Generally, it's if you don't tell them you want a low mileage, they'll do unlimited.
Okay.
Default's 50.
Oh, 15,000.
That's the default per year.
Ooh,
Still,
sorry.
it ended up being like $100 off my 6-month, rate.
Right. Yeah.
$100 more, or like, oh, but how much was the initial surcharge though
For what?
for the insurance?
So I got the bill, and it was like $1,200. No, that can't be right. No, I think it
$1,200 for
was-
6 months?
I think it was $1,200.
That's expensive.
Yeah, it's really expensive. I got,
This is what you get for driving your shit fucking Mitsubishi, fucking zoom zip
car.
hippie car.
Mine's a Suzuki SX4.
Oh shit, I can afford the payments. This thing goes 110 and it does just fine.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, I like getting. I like.
All right,
getting,
all right. I gotta hop out of here, guys.
Okay, yeah.
You guys
What you
have
got?
Fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, it's good having you. Before you
Yeah.
go, do you have any final words before we get the audience in on this?
No, just that Bobby is whipped. That's all.
All right.
Coming from you, that's rich.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's kind of like a hierarchy thing, right? If he says it to someone else, then he's automatically above them. That's
True.
kind of that's why I'm
Exactly how it
always the
works,
butt of the
yeah.
joke. Anyways, it's good to finally have you. That was Eric, our
Eric Dingledon.
Dingledon, Eric Bingerton. Glad to have you. Thanks, everyone. See you soon, Eric. Telling you, man, you got to do. Well, here's the problem, Stevie. What is that? An Ixon? What kind of fucking name is Stevie Ixon?
Wow, you're shitting on our viewers.
Yeah,
for
what
no
a
reason.
fucking cunt. You're just gonna come here and we've got an in-studio audience that's cheering and laughing and having a good time. Oh no, well yours was kind of positive. Sorry, I conflated yours with Jay Lemoski. What is that? Some sort of play on Jay Leno? Fucking I can't crop my camera. How am I gonna crop my camera to show just the mustache?
Yeah, see, Stevie gets it. You're all soy boys. I've been saying this. I've been saying this.
More, well, no, he's saying all the others. He's saying we're above all the other soy boys. Listen, there's no such thing. You don't have to say anything about that. You're just making stuff up. We have randos in chat who are just making stuff up. We got this guy who wishes he was Jay Leno, Jay Lenoski, and he's making stuff about MP3 files that supposedly exist somewhere.
Oh, I like that Steve. I like that Stevie guy. That Stevie guy knows what's up.
Yeah, Stevie Ixon.
Yeah, Stevie. Stevie knows what's up.
I'm literally above the other soy boys because I'm actually on the Sky Island. I'm literally up to them.
Nice. If you're talking about being below something, what's a positive connotation? They're below me because while they're in the depths, I'm on the surface. How does that sound? That's a good one, right?
The middle management of soy boys, like this type of we're the middle management type of streamers. Like yeah,
That implies we like keep the other soy boys in check.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're a little bit more sociable than those soy boys.
Guy that in 5 years is just going to be exactly where I am, like just working middle class office job, you know,
Gonna become the
walking
product
into work-
manager?
walking into work after a weekend, going, somebody's got a case of the Mondays. You know? He's going to be like, now I got to go talk to Sheila and payroll, and then everyone gives a groan. He's like, yeah, I know. That's
Gonna be the guy
Sean.
that Zoom calls your coworkers who are like 10, 20 years younger than you just to have a bit of a chat. You know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
to get
just-
away
just
from
to talk.
the hubbub of it all, the hubbubaloo.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy from Office Space who goes, yeah, so I'm gonna need you to do that for me. Okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday. And,
I want to be
You're gonna
the cool guy with the suspenders, cause I think he also had a mustache, and he had a pretty good one too. And if I keep losing hair, my hair is gonna be in the same shape his is.
I want to be one of the Bobs. I want to be one of the Bobs. One of the guys that goes in and just fires everyone. And it's just like,
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying I'm
but-
the other guy. Do you think we
Oh,
could
you
do
wanna
that?
be
Is there like a service out there that we could a market where we can be industry breakers and we can come in and say, hey, we have a business. It's just two dudes, you know, and you just pay us to walk in and we fire your employees for you. Is that like a sustainable industry we could get into?
the job of George Clooney in Up in the Air.
Never seen
Consulting,
it.
baby.
What is that?
It's a movie about a guy who is a traveling. It's all about traveling for work, and your entire life is traveling. But his job is travels the country firing people. Like that is his job. He is traveling. Like people hire him. Bosses hire him to lay off their workforce because he doesn't know who you are. So you're not the employee's not gonna fucking kill you. And he just goes in. He's a career transition specialist is like the fancy name. But he just fires everyone.
Just another middle management name for does nothingism.
Well, but the whole
We lost you,
it's all
Bobby.
about,
Start from the top.
you know,
Oh
on the road.
no! Sorry, start from the top again.
Start from the top, buddy. Yeah, you were cutting out a little bit over there.
Yeah, I'm in Batavia, New York. So
Yeah, I heard
real
they don't
shithole.
have a good connection there.
Yeah, they don't. So the main point of the movie, and especially the book, is not necessarily his job of firing people, but it's about him like traveling. Like he's constantly traveling. He has an apartment, but he doesn't have anything in his apartment. He spends like 90% of his time like living in hotels, and he has like almost no possessions. And the whole thing is him trying to get like 10 million air miles. So he gets like this fancy platinum membership. But like that's the main thing about it is how do you have connections? What connections do you have if you're constantly traveling?
Yeah, this sounds like the reverse Fight Club. You know, like you're traveling for your job, and instead of just kind of breaking loose and saying "fuck this," it's just I'm just gonna keep my shitty job where I'm just a shitty person, and hopefully I'm gonna get enough airline miles to get the hell out of here.
I mean, the whole thing is it's actually kind of inspiring in my mind because it's like his whole modus operandi is he wants to travel everywhere, so he has a job where he's constantly traveling. And it's kind of cool because he's always traveling. And he wears a lot of cool suits. And he looks really hot because he's George Clooney. So basically, I think my life goal is to just literally become George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my life would be a lot better if I was George Clooney.
My thing is why even have an apartment at that point? Because if you're always over there on the road, I don't know. If the job was close to home, I just crashed at my parents. How long are you?
Well,
home?
I mean, you need a permanent address, and he does like go back there every once in a while when he has to go back to the main office.
mean, yeah, but that's what I mean. I was like, as long as the office is close to home, you know, just you're with your parents like 10 days maybe.
Well, it wasn't in the movie. It's not. In the movie, he's from like northern Wisconsin, and his headquarters is in Omaha.
I mean, even then, it would make sense to just get a hotel.
I don't know. I think he has a cheap. I mean, you need a place to send mail to consistently.
Just get a PO box. Just
get a
just
PO
go from
box, yeah.
hotel to hotel and get a PO box. That's what like the real grinders do.
I don't think he was sleeping with the neighbor. I think that he wanted to, but she was just like, it never would work.
This has got to be a '90s movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a 90s movie.
2007.
Oh, really?
It probably still has that.
The book came out in 2001, and the movie came out in 2008. And the people one of the reviewers said it makes more sense. The movie makes more sense in terms of time period because the movie came out right when the recession was hitting and everyone was getting laid off. Whereas the book was not. It was in like a .com bubble at first, but it was still not like a major recession. That's the other big theme of the movie in terms of his job is, you know, what happens when you lose your job and how do you go about that and changing places. They touch on that with some of the cameos, the people who get fired.
Yeah.
We've gone full circle then. Talking about now we've gone from talking about being the business owner in a recession to being the employee to just saying fuck it. What if you're in a recession, you may as well just be the guy that fires people.
Yeah,
I mean, that's if you're talking about a business that booms in a recession, that is it right there.
True.
Yes and no. I mean, they'll just lay people off.
Who's gonna lay you off? You're the one laying everyone else off. Come on, think about it. See what I'm saying?
It's just another one of those dumb jobs that I see like no real use for.
It sounds like we found something that you're morally opposed to.
No, I mean it's just I'm a big efficiency guy as much as everyone else, but that's like a literal do nothing job.
Someone's got to fire him.
Like the pool. No, you know what it is? You take liability. That's all it is. A lot of jobs are just taking liability.
Shaw, you're going to be the king of adult daycare. You're just going to be. I can see you just being in adult daycare for, the rest of your life.
I could see there's this game I played as a kid called Grim Fandango, and like someone, I'm not going to say what their role ends up being, but one of the guys who you start out as kind of like clashing heads with is the manager who's right above you, and he's like equally like as pathetic as your character. You're like both salesmen. But he has like the big office with like the painted glass door and windows and stuff, and he has like one of those little punching things where you kind of like circle it and it like knocks it up and down for you. I could see Shaw being like that. He's like he's the guy with the bigger office, and like instead of like a live laugh love poster, it's like just hustle grind set stuff. He's got American Psycho, the guy with the knife, and he oozes coolness, but just inside the office.
Oozes coolness inside the office.
To no one else, but in the office, you were the guy.
Yeah, no, that I'd want to shoot myself if that was me. I'd want to shoot myself. Like, don't get me wrong, vanity is cool and all, but like I've no need for an ivory tower in an office building.
It's not an ivory tower. It's I mean, what are you grinding for if it's not for the corner office with the skyline view and 40 awful hours just like everyone else?
That's what I mean. It's a bunch of hoopla malarkey. Like, I don't care. Like, the point is, I'd take. You know what? Don't give me the corner office. Give me a pay bump. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. No one likes to do that. You know, it's always like intangible incentives.
Like I said, Shaw's going to be the king of adult daycare. He's going to be the head, paper pusher.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Shaw has a career. He's destined for a career in middle management.
So project management basically.
Five levels of managers below him and 5 levels of managers above him, like dead center, middle management.
Clowns
Every
to
day,
the rest of me, left of me, jokers to the right, and that's Shaw right in the middle with you.
every day he's
I mean,
writing.
actually, honestly, that's probably one of the easiest gigs out there, though. Middle management. You get
Yeah,
directives handed to you, and you hand directives down.
Honestly, that also kind of sounds like hell on earth because like you're getting like if it works the way I think it would, and I think it does work this way, is you're gonna get all these conflicting instructions and people changing their mind, and I interpret, the third manager says it this way, oh, they want it the other way, and it just bounces back and forth between levels, and you never have a
that's easy.
strong idea of what's going on.
Dude, that's easy. Just get it in writing.
No, I don't think that would ever really you can get it in writing. You could get an email on paper, and then the instructions will change 3 minutes later. Anyways, it's like workplace psychosis.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
40 hours a week in psychosis, but you get to make money
no,
doing it. You get
not-
70K while everyone else is getting 60.
No, it's not psychosis. It's just that, it's above your pay grade.
Like 70K is where it's at managed.
70K is where it should be in middle management.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a fair. I feel like $70,000 a year to just essentially be in adult daycare all day every day. That is definitely a universal basic income. That's what it should be.
I think 70K
I know
is gratuitous.
Middle managers get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, but I think that is insane because they don't actually do anything.
I feel like some days they get paid when they get paid just to answer the phone.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's kind of a bullshit job to a certain extent. I mean, especially middle management paper pushers that just make reports. Their entire job is to just report stuff. If your entire job could just be replaced by, sharing an Excel spreadsheet with somebody else,
Or by the calendar function in Microsoft Teams.
yeah, then you're not worth it. If you
Yeah.
can just.
Oh, did we lose him? He's going under a bridge.
That's half of my job too. I mean, my bosses all just make reports all day. Half of my meetings are all about reports.
There's reports, and then there's analyzing the reports. You know what I mean? That's two different things. That's what middle managers, they analyze. Fudge.
See, you know what, guys? I think it's been a good episode, but I think I'm gonna call it here. I need to go make dinner.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We're on the last highway. We're almost home.
Okay. Well, do you guys have any final thoughts for us or for the audience? A very combative audience, may I add.
Yeah,
tonight.
Stevie. I mean, that Stevie guy. I think he's dead set. I think we should offer him a spot on the YBT podcast.
I may have.
You may have
here's-
reach out to him via Twitch.
Yes,
some
I'm
very-
DMing him. Sub 2 hours. Yeah, no, I know. Never gonna. Hey, buddy. You can check out our catalog. Usually, we actually never really hit 2 hours. We're usually 1 hour 45 minutes. But if you're looking for a podcast to listen to on a cool drive back home, this is the podcast for you.
Travis, can I get my final thoughts?
Yeah, give us your final thoughts.
My final thoughts on this. If you work a bullshit job where you're just making reports or, in meetings all day, here's what I want you to do. This is what I personally am advocating for you to do. I want you to tell your manager that report that they're asking for, that's going to take a little bit extra time this time. It's a little different. The market is in an uncertain state, and this report is going to be hard to build because you're asking for data points that you think you've asked for before, but they're new data points. And I want you to take that time that you're telling him it's going to take, and don't make the report with that time. I want you to play. Yeah. I want you to grab your Switch during a meeting and play Tears of the Kingdom. And after a week, 2 weeks of doing this, I want you to be in the meeting playing Tears of the Kingdom. I want you to take yourself off of you. In 2 weeks, I want every worker, every middle manager, every little, adult daycare worker in America to be playing Tears of the Kingdom full volume, unmuted on their Zoom calls. I want to be on a call, a WebEx, and just hear
A
the
team's meeting.
sound of Tears of the Kingdom. I want to hear some hi-ya, some doodle-doodle-doo stuff, right? I want to hear that. That's my final thoughts.
God, I wish do I have a clap here? Let's see. I'll just press a button. Nope.
Jesus.
We'll go with the holler. That was good. All right. Shot.
Final thoughts?
Ska. Yeah, you got anything for us?
Yeah. All I gotta say is, Jirikalsi mere nalia di goria di Filipini. That's about it.
All right. Let's give that. And then, folks, I've got one final word for you all tonight. It's been great playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's a must pick up, and this is what I'll leave you guys with.
My life is like a video game.